How the heck do you pick out fragrance notes? Hey Fragrance family, I'm David with the Fragrance Bros, of course your best source for everything fragrance related. Today we're doing another video in my basic series where we ask and answer all the basic questions about fragrance and cologne. Today we're asking and answering the question, how do you pick out fragrance notes? Now this is a common question that I get asked frequently from many people, and if you don't know what fragrance notes are, you can go to this video up here. I have another video in my basic series where I go over fragrance notes and accords. I go into more detail in that video about the definitions of things, so I'm going to assume that you already know what notes and accords are so I can build upon that in this video. So because I'm a fragrance reviewer and critic, a lot of the things that I talk about in my videos are fragrance notes, and I talk about how I can pick out this note and that note, and sometimes to someone who may not even know what those notes smell like, they question like, how do you even smell those things? And they might not know how to distinguish any of those things. So sometimes I think it's curiosity, sometimes it's criticism, thinking that I'm just kind of making stuff up. But picking out notes is actually not that hard. It just takes a little practice and time. So one of the things that I tell people all the time is that distinguishing notes isn't super important to liking a fragrance, but it might be helpful in determining if you like something ahead of time if you haven't smelled it yet. It doesn't mean that you will. There's tremendous flops where you might think that you like something based on the notes and it turns out you just don't. It wasn't made very well. So it's just kind of one approach. But it's not necessary in liking a fragrance. It's just kind of one of those things that helps you appreciate fragrances more and might be helpful for future fragrance purchases. So the first thing you can do is go to the websites of the actual individual fragrances. I'll have these two as examples here. You can go to those websites and they'll list out a lot of their fragrance notes and see if there's any in common. Then you go and you compare the two and see if you can smell a similarity between them. And so if you get a few of these fragrances and you say, oh, they only have the note of bergamot in common, maybe I'll smell these all together and see if I can determine what the note of bergamot smells like. That's one way of how you can kind of zero in on one note. You can find a similarity between several different fragrances. Now, if they don't have a list of notes on the websites from those fragrances, go to fragrantica.com. It's a great trusted website that has lots of information about fragrances and their notes. Sometimes they're not exactly right, but it's a good start at least. Another great way that you can determine what these notes are is you can smell the actual oils. There's some websites like Eden Botanicals and some more out there that sell actual ingredients, that sell the oils of certain notes. So you can go on there and buy like 1 ml samples of these things just to smell them and say, oh wow, that is what sandalwood smells like. That is what ambroxan smells like. Now that'll take a little bit more investment on your part to actually buy the stuff. But if you're really interested in doing that, if this has become like a really serious hobby for you and you just like to know that, I think that's a great thing to do. You can try that. But I also want to say that even if you get the actual note, the actual ingredient, it still might not be exactly the same in smell between fragrance and fragrance. And there's a number of different reasons for that. One is the composition. The composition of the actual fragrance will highlight certain facets of that note in general. And the other thing is that if they're natural ingredients, they may have different extractions of that particular type of oil. And that extraction may smell different than another different type of extraction. And so just because you might know what the note smells like here, it may be a little different here. And so you just kind of have to know that going in. There's a wide variance in some of these ingredients. So to sum up, it's not super important that you know the notes, but it's still kind of fun to know and it might help you with future purchases. You can smell these things by kind of deducing the fragrances side by side with other fragrances that have similar notes, or you can buy the actual oils on websites that sell perfume ingredients. I'd like to thank my sponsor Fragrance X for sponsoring this video. Fragrance X is a website that I really like. They sell thousands of legitimate fragrances at a discounted cost. I'll have a link down below to them as well as a coupon. I've bought from them before, so I trust them and I can really recommend them to you. So that's the journey on how to kind of start picking out fragrance notes. If you're out there and you have some more tips about how to pick out fragrance notes, put a comment down below for everybody to see. And if you have any questions you'd like to ask, you can ask them down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching this video in my basic series. I'll see you next time. I'm Dave with the Fragrance Bros. Bye. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to check out my other channel, Beast Made Reviews, where me and a friend review high quality products for men. You might like it. Go check it out.